Hi, Lee. How are you? I'm just fine. Why?
Morning, Dad.
Hi, honey. How'd you sleep?
Okay, I guess. Where's Mother?
Well, she was still asleep when I got up. I didn't want to disturb her.
Isn't she going to the hospital today?
Honey, we talked everything over quite late last night. She decided the best thing was to get some rest this morning, and she'll start back at the clinic in the afternoon.
Is it true that going back isn't going to be the same for her?
I don't know exactly what you mean.
Well, something about her old contract.
Where did you hear that?
From someone at the hospital. I can't remember who it was.
Well, there is one slight formality, but Steve Hardy will take care of that for your mother.
The hospital board hasn't renewed Leslie's contract, have they?
No, they haven't.
Why? Is it because of the lie she told to protect me?
That's an oversimplification of it, Laura.
Is it?
Yes. Laura, all of the publicity about the trial, her conviction, and then the subsequent publicity, that's all played an important part on the board's decision.
I understand all that, Dad. But it still boils down to the same thing, doesn't it? I caused all the trouble. I created that publicity that you're talking about because I'm the one who killed the man.
Laura, stop torturing yourself like this. That's in the past. Now, we're concentrating on the present and the future. Now, saying something like that is taking a step backwards.
Well, maybe, but I can't help it.
Yes, you can, Laura. By getting rid of things, by not placing blame, and then dwelling on that blame on something that's already over. Honey, that's destructive. And if you do that, it'll stop us from ever having any kind of normal life again.
Normal? Do you really think that it'll ever be like that?
Yes, of course I do. I have said that from the night the three of us walked in this house. And I mean it. I've gone on saying it because I do believe it.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey, for taking off like that. I've had a long night. I've had very little sleep, and I'm tired. It doesn't give me any justification for taking my frustrations out on you.
We all do it sometimes.
But we shouldn't. Laura, we will get back to where we were before. I believe that. You have to believe it, too. Hey. How about something for breakfast? Okay?
Yeah, thanks.
How about a smile? Smiles do marvelous things on dreary days. My mother always used to say that to me.
Well, it's a beautiful sunny day outside, but it's a nice thought anyway.
Well, it's funny, the things we remember at different times, isn't it? Well, come on, let's get something ready in the kitchen, okay?
I'll be in and help you in a minute. I have to check on a geometry problem.
Oh, okay. See you then.
Good morning, Laura. I brought the mail in, honey.
Thank you.
Are your parents up yet?
Just Dad. He's in the kitchen starting breakfast.
Dear, I am a little late today. I missed my bus, and wouldn't you know, the one that I finally caught broke down? Well, I better get in and help him.
She said what she said to you. I just hope that she meant it. Yeah, it has been a while. It'd be good to see you. Well, I've been busy, you know, cracking the books. Well, you know how that is. Oh, yeah, I will. Okay, well, I hope I see you later, okay, Lee? Bye. That was Lee.
I figured.
Yeah, he sends you his best, and he wanted to apologize about missing the A meeting, but he was in Albany with Dr. Weber.
Well, your coffee got cold. You want a fresh cup?
No, thank you.
Oh, no. You're not going to start that all over again. Look, you're going to make a nervous wreck out of me. Someone has to put you out of your misery, and since I'm the only one that's here, just ask for Laura.
Hello.
Laura, it's me. Did I wake you up?
No, I'm up. That's why I answered the phone so quickly. Leslie was still asleep, and I didn't want it to wake her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. I'm glad that you called.
Listen, how you feeling this morning?
Same as yesterday.
Which leads to my next question.
What's that?
Have I done something wrong? I mean, something to upset you?
Why do you say that?
Well, Laura, I haven't seen you for a couple of nights now, and when I do run into you at the hospital, you seem kind of strange and preoccupied, and you're always too busy to talk.
I just have a lot on my mind, Scotty. It has nothing to do with you. I'd love to see you, as a matter of fact.
Well, now, that's better. Now, I like the sound of that.
But I know how busy you are with your studies. I don't want you to feel obligated.
Well, what do you mean obligated, Laura? I want to see you. Now, I've missed you very much. Now, how about today?
Sure.
Why? Listen, I have a class that's over at 2:45. If I hurry, I can get over to and meet you when you come out of school.
Fine.
We'll meet at the same place in the park.
Sure, that's the best, I think. I just hope my new bodyguard, Mr. Higgins, doesn't show up again.
What do you mean?
Well, he was there yesterday when I got out of school, and he insisted on walking me to the hospital.
What for?
To ask me a lot of questions on the way, as far as I could tell.
Laura, I guess it's just part of his job.
I know. But, I'm really beginning to feel like a criminal out on bail.
Laura, come on, don't talk like that.
I can't help it.
But you have to, Laura, because it's only for another 5 months. Then it will all be over.
5 months. It seems like a lifetime.
No, it's not. Now, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to forget that it even happened. I'll see you later. Bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
Good morning. My name's John Higgins. You must be Dr. Weber. Mr. Higgins, the family court investigator that Judge Stallman.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, Laura.
Morning.
Had no idea you people started work so early.
I've already made 2 calls.
Well, that is early. As I like to visit the families assigned to me at different times of the day. It gives me a better insight into their lifestyles, routines, that sort of thing. And the morning I found is an especially good time to get an impression of family life in a house. Is Mrs. Weber at home? She's not awake yet.
Excuse me, I'm going to have breakfast now. I'll be late for school.
Darling, did you want to talk to Laura this morning? No, not really, but I'd like the chance to talk with you if you have a few minutes. That'll be fine. I'm on my way downtown if I can give you a lift to school, Laura.
Thank you. That's very nice of you, but actually I'd rather walk this morning.
I understand you've been here before.
Yes, I had a nice talk with your wife once. Oh, and Laura and your housekeeper.
And you've talked to the people at the hospital, and you've been to Laura's school.
That's right.
Is that the usual procedure, Mr. Higgins? The reason I ask is this is all very new to me.
Well, not really the usual, Dr. Weber, but Laura is a special case.
How was that?
Well, Dr. Weber, she was responsible for a homicide.
Yes.
And Judge Stallman has asked for very detailed reports. During the next 5 months, he has to consider the dismissal of the charges against your daughter. So he has to be armed with all the facts as to her progress.
Naturally.
From what I've read about the case and what I've seen here, your wife is very protective of her daughter.
Aren't most mothers?
Yes, but in this case, it might be said that Mrs. Weber has been overly protective.
Well, how would that affect Judge Stallman's decision, anyway?
Well, it wouldn't. See, what I'm getting at is that Mrs. Weber might tend to overlook some of Laura's shortcomings.
That may have happened before, but my wife has a much more objective and realistic view of Laura now.
Good. She seems to feel that Laura is making excellent progress.
She is.
Progress in all directions, and that her attitude has changed greatly. Do you agree?
I most certainly do.
What do you base your evaluation on, Doctor?
By what I hear, by what I see. Laura has been through a great many things that would have been difficult on any young lady her age. And she's come through admirably.
It's a very impressionable age.
Laura is back in school, and it's not easy for her there. She's returned to her volunteer work at the hospital, and from where I stand, Mr. Higgins, that takes a lot of guts. I understand you've talked to a few other people about Laura. Is that true?
I have.
Well, how do they concur with my evaluation of her progress?
Well, they do in the main, yes, but Dr. Weber, fill me in on one thing, if you will.
What's that?
Laura's temper. Now, is she given to sudden outbursts of temper that she finds hard to control?
Mr. Higgins, my daughter is a girl of many moods, and she has several faults that are common to any young girl her age. But as to a burst of temper, no, that is not one of her faults. That seldom ever happens.
I'm glad to hear that. And I'm sure you can appreciate the reason for my asking.
I'm sure I understand why. Would you like to explain it to me?
The homicide Laura was involved in was obviously a result of a burst of violence.
Look, Mr. Higgins, don't think that I'm going to try to defend my daughter. I, better than anybody else, know exactly what she did, and we have lived through the hideous consequences ever since. Let me ask you one question. Do you have any idea as to what really happened that night? The real facts from Laura's point of view.
There's the juvenile court records, of course, and her mother's statement.
Oh, yes, the records, but do you have any idea what happened inside her mind? Do you have any thoughts as to the hurt, the disillusionment, the vicious, evil acts that man performed against her?
Dr. Weber.
Hey, look, you want the facts? Let me give them to you. She was debased. She was humiliated. Now, don't you think a little sudden outburst of violence was warranted at that time?
Dr. Weber, I'm trying to say that I agree with you.
Well, good. So much for bursts of temper. You know, most people think I'm a very controlled man, but that's because I work at it. I work at it very hard because I happen to have one hell of a temper, and it's given me a lot of trouble. Mr. Higgins, had I been there that night and had I seen David Hamilton, I would have killed him before Laura ever had a chance to.
You make a good case, Doctor.
No, that's just the facts. Nothing more.
I'm very pleased we met finally.
Likewise.
We'll probably be seeing a lot of each other during the next few months.
Whatever we can do to help. Good day.
Good day, sir.
Laura?
What?
Well, it's not nice to eavesdrop, honey.
It wasn't eavesdropping. I was just listening to see if he was gone.